Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Friday night. We begin tonight with the stunning new details we're learning about a suspected serial killer on New York's Long Island. The suspect is 59-year-old Rex Heuermann, charged with the murders of 3 women and the prime suspect in the death of a 4th. The Manhattan architect and married father is a longtime resident of Long Island and lives not far from Gilgo Beach, where the remains of his alleged victims were discovered in 2010. Well, that community has lived in fear for nearly 13 years since officials first discovered those victims. In total, 11 sets of human remains were found in that same area. Authorities were unable to identify a suspect. And according to new court documents, investigators were able to link the suspect to the 3 killings using DNA evidence from a pizza crust and data from burner cell phones. CBS's Meg Oliver has all the grisly details tonight from Gilgo Beach. Good evening, Meg.
Norah, good evening. Police uncovered most of the human remains along this remote beach. Police say the suspect, Rex Heuermann, has been under surveillance for months, and it was revealed in court documents today he allegedly used one of the victims' cell phones to make taunting calls to her family after the murder.
Rex, did you do it?
Police say Rex Heuermann, a New York City architect, is the suspected serial killer they've been hunting for over a decade. Heuermann lived on this quiet street in Massapequa, Long Island. He was arrested near his Manhattan office last night and arraigned today.
Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families.
Prosecutors said investigators were led to Heuermann initially after a witness reported seeing a pickup truck when one of the victims disappeared in 2010. Investigators later recovered his DNA from a pizza crust he discarded in Manhattan and matched it to genetic material found on the bodies. They also linked him to other evidence, including burner phones used to arrange meetings with the victims.
We're continuing to execute search warrants, and we anticipate getting more evidence.
Today, Heuermann was charged with murder in the deaths of 3 women and is the prime suspect of another victim whose bodies were first discovered on Long Island in 2010. The women, all sex workers, were found wrapped in burlap bags. Shannon Gilbert was among those who went missing after making this desperate call to 911.
There's somebody out there. Where are you, ma'am? I don't know.
In all, police found the remains of 11 people in the area of Gilgo Beach, including a toddler. The killings terrorized residents around 40 miles from New York City for more than a decade.
To wake up and find out that that's where he lived, it's shocking.
On his website, Heuermann posted this interview that he gave last year, bragging about his work in New York City for 35 years.
When a job that should have been routine suddenly becomes not routine, I get the phone call.
In 2020, Melissa Kahn spoke to 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty about the day her sister, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, was discovered.
What I want most is answers and justice, and I also want that the world to know, like, my sister mattered.
Heuermann pleaded not guilty today based on the heinous nature of these murders. He's being held without bail. His next court date is August 1st. Norah.
So many interesting details. Meg Oliver, thank you so much.